With this next repetition, we are going to think about drawing back and changing the arm position, really drawing back. So we're going to take the arms wide, fingertips down, and we're going to lift the arms, and we're going to keep asking to go back. And we're going to lift the arms, and we're going to keep drawing back. And one more time, and keep drawing back. Yep. As you rest your toes, put your hands at your knees. Make your adjustments. I'm going to make my feet a little bit toward parallel. They're still turned out. And the idea here is to not lean, but to just simply turn. So focus on the side of the rib cage, the lower side, we can think of it as lengthening. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale and switch and just feel. Yep. As you're ready for change, we're going to continue on down. We're going to walk our feet somewhat in, enough to give us a chance to squat down lower, park the elbows inside, and really come to any amount of sitting. So if what you really need to do is stay higher, please do. If what you find that you must do is put a block under your hands or roll up your blanket underneath your heels, please do, but notice what you can do. There's one thing I want us to ask for today while we explore this position, and that is to put the feet, which right now, when I go really low, I get there with my feet more in a turned out position. And I want to talk my feet more into a parallel position, and that's where we are going to grow in this pose in Malasana. So that's a little different. It gives us a chance to really focus on the foundation. And we're going to stay here one more breath before we ease out of it. We're going to use this place. If you'll put your hands down from whatever position you're at, higher or lower, and just lean in a few times. Just use it to lean in and then come back. We're coming back to this, so save your energy. But as you lean in, what I want out of it this time is, can you really come to the tips of your toes? And just give yourself that opportunity to be there. This third time, no matter how far you're going into it, a little bit or to the tips of your toes, I want you to think about how you push and push yourself away from the floor. So push and pull up, draw navel to the spine, really pull up toward the ceiling. Doesn't matter how much you bent your knees or how low you got, but pull up. And that's all we're doing with that part today. Come park your shins and grab your block. I'm going to encourage for anybody who wants the support of their knees to put a blanket under their shins, right? So block in hand. And at first we're just dropping back, coming forward, and then adding rotation. So I want to turn to one side, any amount, dropping back, coming forward and up. Notice your breath. This next repetition, we're going to stay and we're going to have some action, as if there's not enough action. We're going to stay here and 3 repetitions of just letting the arms move. Just letting the arms move. Keep feeling the shift through the side body to hold you, and then come back to center. Exhale to the other side. Just the arms get to come and go. The torso adjusts. Excellent. The block goes behind you. And as it is behind you, we're just going to give ourselves a little bit more height than usual. So I want you to be able at first to put the top of your toes on the block while the leg is extended. So what does that mean? That means the top of the foot gets to bear down. And as your hands push, whether you need the other block underneath your hands or not, our awareness while we have everything pushing, the shin presses back, is that we're using this push to keep this lift through this midsection of the body, right? While the back foot does its job, we're going to lift the knee or aim to make that leg lighter and then give it a rest. Let's do what we typically do. Let's put the toes down to push and repeat. I want to just push and then feel the sense of lift through the midsection. The shin presses back and making the shin lighter or lifting the knee. And if it feels awkward, it's because we typically are at the floor. The angle is a little different. Relax. Let's try the other side. We'll come back to this. The top of the foot bears down. Any amount of effort. Nice. Relax. The toes bear down. Any amount of effort to that lift. Looking ahead and not hanging the head. Very good. This time the block goes between the knees. Between the knees. And our place is to keep the toes at the floor, keep the hands at the floor, and lift the knees. Bring the block with you. Can do. We'll repeat this with variation just so that everyone can really find their place in it and just notice what we notice. So this time we'll take a narrow block and we'll hold it between the thighs. And as we hold it between the thighs, we can practice from here a little bit. It would be easy, and let's come up to try this. We can, and we've done this before, I can move the block forward or I can roll the block back. The action that we're after is moving the block back. So if I can get my muscles to do it rather than tipping my pelvis to do it, I will not be imposing on the lower back. I want this very subtle guiding this inner thighs back. And we're going to do this when we lift, and we're going to do this in our downward facing dog and our upward facing dog. So let's try. So from here, just put your mind on that action in your body and come into your downward facing dog. It accentuates what we're really doing in downward dog. Inner thighs back has to be matched by outer thighs back. And again, it's very subtle. If you feel like it's just too much to have to think about, then don't overthink it, and just know that even just holding it and the pressure gives you a nice little massage. It has a great release effect. Take your time and come into plank. If you can manage that, oh, but I'm trying to move the block back. Bend in your elbows, lean in, sneak into your upward facing dog. Notice that you have a little bit more work to do in managing it here, but it can be managed. So make this about the block. Don't make this about anything more. And come back into your downward facing dog. As you bend in your knees, return your knees to just floating above the floor. And then release. So this time we'll put the block back between our knees and we'll park our forearms at the floor. From the beginning, as you come into your dolphin pose, walk your toes closer, send your head back any amount. So the block is between the knees. You can remember the block between the thighs and think about rolling the inner thighs back. But from here, make this more about lifting up and away. I want to push away the floor. I want to send my sitting bones higher. Broadening the collarbones. Feeling the lower belly in the breath. And then slowly release. Very nice, everyone. We are sitting to twist, and our twist goes like this. One foot rests against the other, and the other is to the side. What I'd like to do is remind us that we typically take it from this centered position, and the back foot is aiming for its hero pose, and we are reaching away from our feet. So I'm going to turn this way and bring the block into play. So I want to turn away from my feet. I want to keep walking around. And at first, ignoring the block, I want to think that I'm turned to the left, so my left hand is going to stay as the propping me up, and the right arm is going to travel palm up, around, reaching back and under. The idea is to look back to the foot and notice what we can see way back there. The arm that reached under now, I want you to turn it palm down, and whether you are able to hold your sticky mat or just use the floor, it is your pulling hand. You're pulling back towards you, and the other hand that propped you up is your pushing hand. So we get to draw navel to the spine with a little bit more energy. We get that great quadricep stretch, all well and good. Where I'd like us to go from here is to undo and drop down to the forearms. And as we're here, we're just giving time to this slightly different angle for what the side body muscles have to do and the big latissimus muscle has to do to help us get here. We are not hanging our head. It's a wonderful deep stretch. And we should come back and use the block for the next repetition. Right? Inhale and come on up. So I just want to point out that on Tuesday, what we did was we used the ball. We put the ball under our hand and we kept coming and going and pressing down. And so you all can see the value in that. But we're going to come back and use the block and be a little bit more traditional. Let's just do the other side. Tuck the back foot in, and then make our way around. And all of a sudden it feels all the more like our body so welcomes this on this side. Notice that you are not on your sitting bones at all, you're at the outer thigh. And as you really make your way around, the other hand travels under. And then as you're ready to add a little bit more action, turn the palm down and add a pulling action. You're involving the arm, yes, but you're involving more of the back body muscles responding. As you drop the elbows, just feel what happens on this side. And recognize that you're giving space for what can stand to let go a little bit more, to just agree. Notice too how your breath makes a great difference. There's this great stretch from the outside of your rib cage, and it gets matched with this great stretch from the inside of your rib cage. The abdominal muscles participate in the breath. They are official muscles of respiration. Right, so here we go, slowly unwinding. And we're back to that first side, this time the block. What we recognize in going from that higher to that lower place is that after we've maximized on this twist, it becomes greater when we're turning more on the axis of the spine. So when I walk around, I want to be able to drop this shoulder, which means I need to prop up that shoulder. It doesn't get to drop, it gets to be the prop. And I'm going to put the block right in the nook of the arm. It doesn't really hide in the armpit, it's just in front of it. And then I get to drop the elbow. So it keeps me from sinking in places and encourages the deeper release of the back body muscles, turning on the axis of the spine. Notice if you're able to get both elbows to the floor. Feel the expansion through the back of the rib cage. Connect to belly breathing. If you think about the position of the feet and the position especially of the foot that's resting against the knee, you can use the toes to just press the knee away. Right. And then inhale and come on back. Wow. It's almost as if we don't want to come out of it, just want to stay a little longer. Okay. So as you make your way there, be aware, keep your mind on your body and just notice what you notice. This great lengthening, this deep opening. And you can appreciate that the lower block is not going to give us more. It would give us less. That we need this higher position to be able to encourage the rotation to become greater. Right?